Mouse P.I has a total of 34 achievements and whatever that adds up to amount of collectibles. To do this will be fighting, collecting, fighting some more, playing this stupid ass card game which I cannot understand how it made it past playtesting, and then doing more fighting. To actually get started though, what do we have to do? The tutorial. Thank God this tutorial is easy and it's just these boards. Obviously because I paid attention in the tutorial, I made the jump the first try, and then we immediately go get our first gun of the game. This basic ass pistol. We chase this question mark man into this roulette room, because he's evil I guess, I don't know what he did. We end up finding our first of 29 different comics right in this vent. These collectibles never got more enjoying to collect, I promise. This game is a mechanic called tail picking, which must have took them ages to come up with the name for. This allows us to get exclusive loot from safes. None of these were that challenging, I don't think I failed a single one throughout the game. This one resulted in us getting a schematic. We managed to catch up with the mystery man outside now, then get ambushed by some enemies. This allows us to get our first achievement of the game, to kill 5 enemies within 10 seconds. After we do this, we walk onto this bridge and fall into the credits. Mouse P.I for Hire, if you haven't noticed already, is a black and white FPS shooter with an art style similar to Cuphead and combat similar to Doom. We play as Jack Pepper, who is a detective collecting clues to solve crimes. The core gameplay loop for this game is enter level, kill enemies, collect clues, defeat boss. This loop does get very repetitive, and if I'm being honest, I didn't have a crazy fun time playing the game. I will say, I do kind of agree with IGN and the 6 they gave. I'd probably give it a 5 though, but I am happy I played it nonetheless. We enter our first level of the game and meet this lady Wanda, who is a recurring character and keeps giving us quests. This is pretty much the same for every side character in the game. All they do is provide you with quests. We managed to gather not only our first newspaper, but also our first baseball card. I also get my second achievement of the game, to kill 3 enemies with 1 shot by throwing this barrel at this group of enemies. This is when I played the worst card game of my life. I couldn't believe this was in the game. I don't know how it got through. They must have been sat there and played this. Yeah, guys, this is really good. We really need this. No, take it out the game. You did not need it. And then to lock 3 achievements behind it, it was so dumb. And when I tell you how this game is played, you're going to understand. All you've got to do is hope that you play a card higher than theirs. If you don't play a card higher than theirs, nothing happens. You go to the next turn and that's it. You just wasted your time. And here's the worst part of the whole game, right? It takes 50 coins to even play the game. When you lose, you obviously don't get the 50 coins back, but then when you win, you don't get it back either. So why am I just losing money for playing this game? The only thing you do get back is Spike D tokens, which after collecting 20, allows us to unlock this weapon, the X1D Mousifier. I'm getting all 3 of the achievements for the card game out of the way now, which are win 1 card game, win 30 card games, and unlock the Mousifier gun. The crime wall is the game's mechanic for bringing all the clues gathered throughout levels together. Once pinned to the board, it allows us to gain access to new levels. We meet Tammy on the side of the street here, and she gives us our first side quest. We need to do all 14 of these to get an achievement, and they are missable. Thankfully, because I'm the GOAT, I did not miss a single one. The way we traverse the levels is by driving Jack's car, which is simple but a nice touch. And we enter our next level, the Mouseburg Opera. Being the second level of the game, it's pretty simple and straightforward, and you know me, I'd never miss a jump. We also obtain our second weapon of the game, the classic shotgun, and shortly after, dynamite sticks too. After killing these 2 enemies and breaking the barrel, we pick up our 5th magazine for achievement 6. I actually chose to grind out some of the combat achievements right here so I wouldn't have to worry about them later in the game. The first one I went for was kill 20 enemies by throwing an exploding barrel at them. These guys must be made out of rubber because they were just kicking and throwing the barrels back at me. After a fair bit of grinding and killing way more than 20 enemies, the achievement finally popped for me. And then I did explode 20 enemies by shooting an explosive barrel for my next achievement. I then loaded up an older save to get achievement 9, which is crush 20 enemies. Back to the level now. After talking to Master Splinter here, we managed to get our first ability of the game, which is a double jump. Using our newly obtained double jump, we do some platforming to reach this area where we find our 5th baseball card for achievement 10. We set off this huge cannon which ends up setting fire to the whole opera house and encounter our first boss. She is extremely basic though and easy, and we take her down in no time with the shotgun and then finish her off with our fists. We escape the burning building and meet the stage designer outside, who tells us about a secret lab, and with that we exit the stage. We buy a newspaper from this newspaper boy here and we manage to get achievement 11, obtain 5 newspapers. The next level starts off with an outhouse looking room. Turns out it's a secret elevator down to a secret lab with an evil giant squid. This all leads us to our next weapon, which is the De-Varnisher. We encounter a secret robot lady, which is one of 3 robot bosses. This boss is fairly simple and I totally didn't die here. Look, I'll be honest, I lost to greed here. I wanted to kill it immediately. I did not want to wait another cycle. The final one is just a culmination of the first two, but the first two are really easy, so the third one's also really easy. After returning back to our office, we see that Tammy has left a note informing us that she's opened up her shop. Tammy's shop allows us to upgrade our weapons to increase their overall firepower, and for getting a tier 3 upgrade, we unlock our 12th achievement. Here's where we are introduced to Corny Stilton, and he starts talking about shrews. I could not find a complete explanation for what shrews are, but I do get a feeling that this is some woke nonsense. We even see in the next level the shrews are being discriminated against to the point where the police are beating on them. I'm not sure what type of historical event this is trying to replicate and what shrews may be rhyming with. In quick succession, we get 10 newspapers, baseball cards and comics for 3 more achievements. And then straight after that, we use this group of enemies to get our last combat achievement of the game to kill 10 enemies in 10 seconds. I will say, I feel like the game should have had way more combat trophies than this, considering a large portion of the game is just fighting. The next level has us going through an abandoned old subway, and we come across Rip-Off Killer Croc, who is literally just a bullet sponge boss, by the way, nothing interesting to him. After beating him, we get the ability to glide using our tail, and we can use these air vents to get height. After doing some extremely riveting platforming, we get to make it to the next level. The next level was quite cool, as it had us going through the Tinsel Bros movie sets. The main one that stood out though was the Indiana Jones styled one. This is where we get to meet Harrison Ford. Oh wait, it's Rocky Ford. And he teaches us an ability where we can use our tail to swing from hooks. And you're never going to guess what happens next. We get chased by the iconic boulder, and we get to use our newly learned ability to hook to swing away and end the level. In the next level, Wallop Bay, for some reason we can get an achievement for kicking this fish. I mentioned Cuphead earlier, and look what we have. A power-up that lets you shoot with your hand. I must admit this was probably the most satisfying weapon in the whole game. During this mini boss fight, we managed to get our hands on a cannon and we use it to destroy the building. The next level is a return to the burnt down opera house. We literally only need to do 2 important things. 1 is get this burnt patty for John, and 2, talk to Miles Curd to wrap up the missing magician case and get ourselves another achievement. Once we turn over our side quests to John and Corny, we get our next achievement for completing 5 side quests. Over the next couple of levels, the only notable things that actually happened were obtaining warp pipe travel, obtaining the Kiss Kiss shotgun, and then also obtaining the wall run ability. We do obtain another achievement here for punching this guy who's trying to spend propaganda from the bad guys. The next level has us on a boat and we complete a side quest for this guy and we get paid a shocking 2 coins. We then take a photo of this guy and we get our next achievement for wrapping up the shrew shortage case. After we've done that, we just kill him because, you know, we got our achievement from him, so what has he got to offer anymore? This is the point in the game where it started to feel really loopy, and even when editing this video, I basically ended up cutting everything. To put it into perspective, I had 14 hours of footage and it's been cut to sub 30 now. I really do wish there was more to show for all of this, but I just can't imagine it would have been fun to watch. After we read this sign, we do get another achievement for getting all the key clues in the shrew shortage case. At the end of the Fatal Repulsion level, we get this clue and get the achievement for wrapping up the Blue Betty case. Then, at the start of the Mental Asylum level, we get the achievement for finding all the key clues in the case. There was weirdly a conscious brain in this level as well, which turns into another gun that we can use. And this is all still the same level, somehow we end up in hell. I will say this was probably one of the coolest places in the game. It also felt like the one time we actually got variety in the way the enemies looked and acted. We also obtain our first melee weapon of the game. Then we get into a fight with Bandle, and it's not really much of a fight anyway, because it has us playing the perfect match game from Fall Guys. Word for word, bar for bar, except instead of fruit, they chose to use cards. After infiltrating the professor's submarine and getting into a very basic boss fight with him, and then picking up a clue from his body, we get another achievement for wrapping up the missing magician case. Upon returning to the PI office and handing in our side quest to Cameron Bozo, we get 2 achievements, one for getting all the baseball cards in the game and the other for completing all the side quests. We also pin our remaining evidence to the board and get another achievement. In the penultimate level, we also managed to obtain our final weapon for another achievement, and with that weapon we're finally able to get every weapon in the game to tier 3 for another achievement. In the final level of the game, we get to talk to this mouse who gives us our final ability of the game, which unlocks our 31st achievement. And you're probably thinking, did I accidentally just skip back to the start of the video? No, the first level of the game is also the last level of the game. Continuing on, we collect our final comic book and our final newspaper. We end up catching up with the mystery man from the start of the game, who turned out to be Milford Sawyer, who is the leader of all the bad guys, and we defeat him and get our final achievement of the game. And that's the 100% for Mouse P.I. all completed. I do feel like I complained a fair bit, but I feel like it was justified. The game was a lot of bloat collectibles and pretty weak combat, and then they tried to tie this all together with a story I still don't fully understand and didn't really care to try and learn.